Okay, so I got into looking into panda bears, and oh my God, it's freaking mind blowing. The information that's out there from panda bears, the information that we can learn about what happens when an animal that's basically an omnivore leaning towards carnivore, kind of like what humans, I believe, are, then goes a completely different route and starts eating bamboo spine. Like, what happens to that animal? Unbelievable and incredible evidence that gives us clues and hints and evidence as to what human beings should be eating. We have a lot to learn from the panda bear. And, I was going to talk about other animals, but you know what? The panda bear, like, the panda bear needs to have like an episode for itself because it's just literally mind blowing. The information that I found out about panda bears and what we have to learn about them. So I'm only going to talk about panda bears today. We'll get into dogs and cats in another video. But here we go. Why?
And here now we have the area of where the panda bear habitats are, and they're mainly in forests that are completely bamboo spines. And when a bamboo forest exists, the bamboo is tremendously abundant. There's very little fruit and other vegetations in a bamboo forest. I mean, it really is a bamboo forest. So the panda bear has adapted to live in this remote area of the world where there's only bamboo. And by the way, bamboo has a significant amount of cyanide. It would kill many other animals, including humans, if you ate as much as a panda bear eats per day, the bamboo spine. But panda bears have adapted to live in this area, and they've adapted by just being able to eat the bamboo spine, the bamboo plant, despite having been a carnivore before. And here's the digestive tract of a herbivore compared to a carnivore. Herbivore have bigger digestion because it's very hard to digest cellulose from plant matter. Very difficult to do. So that's why you have like four-chambered stomach cows and buffalo and lamb. It's very hard to do, and they just have a much bigger digestive tract. Carnivore and animals that tend to be carnivore have a much smaller digestive tract because it's actually easier to digest meat. It takes at least a lot less time. Another thing the panda bear developed was a thumb. Most bears, as you see on the left there, they don't have this extra thumb. Panda bears have like a six thumb that, six fingers. It helps them grab the bamboo spine to be able to, or bamboo plant to be able to chew it. And so this is like an adaptation that they have. They're the only bears to have this so that they can chew and hold the bamboo spine all day because panda bears need to eat like 12 to 14 hours a day. It's a lot of time eating. Now, part of the trade off with going from being carnivore or omnivore to fully a bamboo diet is that, yeah, you're going to become smaller. Just like I've shown in archaeological evidence and past videos and other newsletters, how humans have literally gotten shorter as agriculture has come and as humans eat less meat, they literally are shorter. Well, it's the same thing here. We see evidence of this again. If you're going to switch from a nutritious carnivore diet or omnivore diet and go straight to bamboo, you're going to become smaller. So compared to the polar bear, the grizzly bear, the black bear, the panda bear is the smallest. And this is actually to be expected because they're not eating nutrient dense food. They've abandoned the meat and gone for the bamboo pine. So this is not a surprise. It's to be expected in a way when you get out of eating the nutritious carnivore types of foods. And here we see the habitat for the panda bear. One male will take up 2.5 square miles just for himself to eat the bamboo because they eat so much, 12 to 14 hours a day. They consume an incredible amount. And so panda bears live in isolation. They can't live together because there's not enough freaking bamboo despite being in a bamboo forest. I mean, they're spending every waking hour basically eating. Oh, and pooping, well, that they poop up to 40 times a day. They're constantly pooping. It's crazy. So anyway, obviously this makes sometimes breeding very difficult. And speaking of sex, yes, panda bears have very little sex. The females can only get pregnant like 2 days out of the year. And in the zoos in China, humans have to wear costumes and act out sex so that panda bears learn how to have sex. Like they don't even know how to have sex. It's crazy. I mean, yes, it happens in the wild more often than in the zoos, a lot more often. But in the zoos, they have to literally act it out. There's literally a thing called panda porn. It's crazy. And if a panda bear has twins, the mother will often just simply abandon one of them. And it's kind of sad, but then again, you're spending 12 to 14 hours a day chewing on bamboo. I mean, panda bears are kind of like the couch potatoes of the animal kingdom. They're very clumsy, they fall, they like to roll. They just don't have a lot of energy because again, they're not eating any meat. They're eating bamboo. It takes so much work to digest that, and they just have very little energy. So here's one rolling around. They rather do that or just fall off a tree than actually exert energy to walk or run anywhere. Another crazy thing about panda bears is that they like to roll around in horse manure or poop. And some scientists think this might help them when it gets really cold. It might help them keep warm. Others think they're just doing it for fun. Either way, it's really weird, just very strange behavior. They're not like other bears. Maybe they lack the intelligence of like getting fat for winter to protect themselves and hibernating like a lot of other bears do. But yeah, they don't do those things. They roll around and poop.
So you see how there's so much to learn from panda bears? The same thing happens to humans. If you don't eat the nutritious food of meat, chicken, eggs, fish, cow, then you're going to pay a price for it. You're going to pay a price. Yeah, you can survive eating a bunch of junk food. You're probably not going to live as long. You're not going to grow as tall if you eat that way as a child. There's just a lot of factors, a lot of parallels that we see. Your libido goes down. All of these things, it all correlates. It all helps make the puzzle of what human beings should be eating. And if we go another route, can't really blame the panda bear, right? Because they were in an environment where there's only bamboo spines. So they adapted to that environment. But man, what a price to pay. Such little sex, sitting around all day, chewing for 12 to 14 hours. No thank you. I don't want to do that. Cows, they do the same thing. I mean, I don't know if it's 12 or 14 hours, but they got to spend a lot of time. Gorillas spend like 8 hours a day chewing. Who the heck wants to do that? Who the heck wants to poop 40 times a day? When you go carnivore, you start pooping a lot less, which freaks some people out. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm pooping once every 2 or 3 days. It might be once every 4 or 5 days." And think about that. Your body wants to absorb the meat. It's taking it all in. It absorbs 90% of it. When you eat fiber, it just passes through you. Do you really want to poop 40 times a day like a panda bear? Do you want to have a lower sex drive? Do you want to be smaller than what you can be? Very similar parallels. It all fits. It all correlates. It's amazing that panda bears are still around. Yes, humans have interfered in their habitat, but now we're protecting them, which I guess is a good thing. Because we need to take responsibility and not make more and more animals go extinct. We've done enough of that. We don't need to continue doing that. Which is another reason why we should realize that, yeah, we need to eat meat because we ate so much meat that we've made so many animals go extinct. In any case, thank you for watching this edition of Subconscious Fat. I will be back on Thursday with Mr. Skeptical. And next Monday, I'll probably have another thing with animals again, because I'm just finding all of this fascinating. And I really love this information, because it's a new way of looking at things, okay? Because let's be real. All these studies come out, they do these scientific studies, and, sometimes scientific studies can be biased. But when you study an animal in nature, when you look at the bones that we have found, the archaeological evidence and animals, I find those things more valuable than just the scientific studies. Because guess what? If the sugar industry wants to make sugar not look so bad, they're going to fund certain studies and blame it on fat. Oh, that's actually already happened. That has actually already happened. So, I love looking at animals. I love looking at the archaeological evidence, and just making common sense of these things, and to really reach a conclusion of what the human diet should be. And to me, that's more valuable than scientific studies that can be biased, that can be bought. So I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you next week. Bye.